Good afternoon, all. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So, hope all of you have enjoyed the puja vacation very well, and you have given your mid semester examination also very well. Just I want to ask you a question. How much I have discussed before the puja vacation? I have forgot because I have taken the last class 1 month ago, perhaps. So, yeah, if you can say how much I have finished before the puja vacation, then it will be very much helpful for me. So, can anyone tell me how much I have finished? So, have I discussed both the methods to find out the harmonic conjugate? That means in the last class I have perhaps told that no, I didn't take your class. No, before puja vacation, did I take your class? Last class? How much I have discussed up to harmonic conjugate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let me share my screen. So I've taken this class for electrical previous day. So just I want to discuss that. And if you face any kind of problem in understanding anything, you can ask. Okay. So harmonic functions as well as analytic function, and both are inclusive. So just here we'll be discussing the methods. There are three methods to find out the harmonic conjugate. What do you mean by the harmonic conjugate? So if fz is an analytic function, then you know that for a complex valued function there are two parts, a real part and imaginary part. So for a complex valued function, if the function is analytic, then you know that to construct any kind of complex valued function, we need both the real part and imaginary part u and v. But for an analytic function, if we know the real part, if we know the u, from that we can construct v, or if we know the value of imaginary part v, from that we can construct u. So we don't need to know the values of both u and v together. Rather, if a function is analytic, if we know the value of the real part, we can find out the imaginary part, or if I know the imaginary part, we can find the real part. Then we can combine them together in the form of u plus iv to construct the analytic function. Is that clear? Is that
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Okay. So there are three methods we'll be studying here, by using which we could actually find out the harmonic conjugate. So here u is called as the harmonic conjugate of v, and v is called as the harmonic conjugate of u, provided the function fz is analytic. So there are two parts actually. One is the analytic function part, and this is the harmonic function part. So you know that both are inclusive. That means if a function is analytic, there are certain conditions for which its real and imaginary part will be harmonic. So if a function is analytic, what are the consequences? If the function fz is analytic, then the consequences of the function fz being analytic is all the four partial derivatives del u del x del u del y del v del x del v del y are continuous, and the partial derivatives will satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation. That means del u del x equals to del v del y, and del u del y equals to minus del v del x. Similarly, if a function is analytic, if fz is analytic, then both of its real and imaginary part will be harmonic functions. Harmonic function means if a function u xy is harmonic, then the second order partial derivative of u with respect to x and y we need to find, we need to add them together. That will provide obviously the value 0. Similarly, if v is harmonic, then it will also satisfy this kind of equation. So if fz is analytic, then both of its real and imaginary part is harmonic, as well as if u is a function which is harmonic and there exists another function v which is harmonic, then you can combine them together in the form of u plus iv, so that the function u plus iv will be analytic. That means if a function is analytic, both of its real and imaginary part will be harmonic. Similarly, if u and v are harmonic, then by combining them in the form of u plus iv, the function which we can construct will be obviously analytic. This thing I have discussed in the last class, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
Okay.
discussed it.
So there are three methods, as I have told earlier. So here we'll be discussing three methods consecutively. So firstly, we know that fz is analytic. So u and v will be obviously harmonic conjugates, because I have told that if a function fz is analytic, then both of its real and imaginary parts are called as the harmonic conjugates of each other. Now, if we'll be starting with the help of these three methods, if u is known, how to construct v, or if v is known, how to find out u to construct the given analytic function fz in the form of u plus iv. So as for the first method, whatever we will do, say let's say u is known, we need to find out v is unknown. So you know that v can be represented, this is called a total differential. So total differential, that means we are measuring the change of v with respect to both x and y. In the case of partial derivatives, we are measuring the change of the variable v with respect to x ones or with respect to y ones, keeping another variable constant. But while we are measuring the total derivative, we are measuring the rate of change of the function with respect to both the variables. So here the total derivative dv can be represented in the terms of partial derivatives in that form. That means del v del x into dx plus del v del y into dy. Do you know this? You have studied this in first semester. First semester, while you have studied the multivariable calculus differential part. Can you remember this? Can you remember this or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here u is known. So I want response from others also. So I'm getting only two responses, few responses. So others do respond. Have you understood whatever I have told so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now here u is known and v's are known. So we can't identify the values of del v del x and del v del y since v is unknown. But since u is known and the given function which we are going to construct fz, whose real part is mentioned over here, uh, since fz is analytic, so it will satisfy the partial derivatives will satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So since u is given, so we know del u del x, del y and del u del x. So we'll be replacing the partial derivatives of v with respect to x and y by the partial derivatives of u with respect to x and y. So as per the Cauchy-Riemann equation, you know that del v del x equals to minus del u del y and del v del y equals to del u del x. Okay. So this differential equation is in the form m dx plus n dy. So you know that this differential equation will be exact differential equation provided del m del y equals to del n del x. Because if a differential equation is exact, what is the significance of exact differential equation? Because while we are going to integrate with respect to only one variable, then the function should be of that variable. So that means we can integrate fx dx. But if the function is fxy, then we can't integrate with respect to x, because there are two variables in the function. But if the differential equation is exact, then we can do so. That's why the exact differential equation is very much easier for us to handle. That's why if this differential equation becomes exact, then it will be very much easier for us to solve this, so that we can find out the value of v. So what is the condition for a differential equation to be exact? So a differential equation will be an exact differential equation if del m del y equals to del n del x. So what is del m del x? So m is this and n is this. So this differential equation will be obviously an exact differential equation. Why? Have I discussed this? That this sort of differential equation will be exact differential equation?
No, sir.
Okay. So let me say one thing. Just let me discuss this and I'll be getting back to this. So let's say the differential equation is given in that form. Say dv equals to del v del x dx plus del v del y dy. But since this is not known to us, so we'll be replacing this by u. So minus del u del y dx so this is our m, this is our n. So this differential equation in the form of m dx plus n dy. So what is m here? M is here minus del u del y and n is here del u del x. So now this sort of differential equation which we are getting for an analytic function will be obviously an exact differential equation. Why? So we need to find out here del m del y. What will be del m del y? Can anyone tell me? What will be del m del y? So del y of minus del u del y. So what will be the value of this? How we can represent this?
Del square u by del
Del 2
square
u
v by
del y2. This one.
del by 2.
And what is del n del x? Similarly, the partial derivatives of this with respect to x again. So there will be second order partial derivative of u with respect to x. So del 2 u del x2. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
since
sir.
here u is harmonic because the function fz is analytic whose real part is u and imaginary part is not given, which we are going to find. So since u is harmonic, so u is harmonic. So u is harmonic means del 2 u del x2 plus del 2 u del y2 will be obviously 0. So that means minus del 2 u del y2 equals to del 2 u del x2. So from this here we have got the del 2 minus del 2 u del y2 is actually del m del y. So that means this is del m del y equals to, and this is del n del x. So here for this sort of differential equation, obviously del m del y will be del n del x. Is that clear? Is that clear or not? Have you understood this or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now since this is an exact differential equation, so very easily we can solve it. Because you know how to solve the exact differential equation? We can solve first there are three methods. We can either find m dx first, then n dy. So while we are finding out m dx, so m is a function of x and y. So here we will be considering x as the variable and y as the constant. Then we can integrate this. Similarly here for nxy, we will be integrating only the values of only the terms which contains y, and will not be integrating the x. That x will be treated as constant. Then if you find both the solutions, then you will take only the common parts or common terms. That will be your required solution. Or you can integrate m with respect to x keeping y constant. Then you can only integrate those terms of n with respect to dy which doesn't contain x, because already here x and y are there. We are integrating with respect to x. So that's why if we here integrate also the terms which contains x, then the same kind of term will be coming twice. So to overcome this difficulties, what we are doing, so we are integrating m with respect to x first by keeping y constant. Then only we are integrating those terms of n which doesn't contain x with respect to y. Or the third one is you can integrate n with respect to y by keeping x constant. Then you can integrate only those terms of m with respect to x which doesn't contain y, since already we have integrated y first. Is that clear? Is that
Yes,
clear or
sir.
not? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
You have studied this in second year first semester. Okay. Okay. So this we can integrate this, so we can get the value of vxy by integrating these things. In the left hand side, if you integrate, you will be getting vxy. In the right hand side, if you integrate, you will be getting the values of vxy. So we have u is given, v we have got, so we can construct fz in terms of u plus iv. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just I'm discussing one example so that the things which I have discussed over here will seem easier to you. So here uxy is given, which is half log x square plus y square. So we need to find out the corresponding harmonic conjugate. That means the corresponding imaginary part of the function v. So before proceeding, you need to verify that u is a harmonic function, because if u is not harmonic, you can't proceed further. So you can verify it easily. You will be finding out the second order partial derivatives of u with respect to x and y. You will add them together. If this gives the value 0, then this function is harmonic. Only then you can proceed further. So here we are going to find out the value of v. So as per the previous method, we can represent dv in the form of del v del x dx plus del v del y dy. So now since v is not known to us, so we can replace the values of del v del x del v del y in terms of del u del y minus del u del y and del u del x. So I have put it here. So u is given. So we can find out here del u del y. So what will be del u del y? U is here half log x square plus y square. So del u del y means half 1 by x square plus y square, and again the partial derivatives of this with respect to y, that is 2y. So 2 will be deducted, so this value will be here. And del u del x means we need to differentiate this partially with respect to x, so half Log of this means 1 by x square plus y square. Then the partial derivatives of the denominator with respect to x, that will be 2x. So that is 2x. So 2 will be deducted. So ultimately this will be minus y by x square plus y square dx plus x by x square plus y square dy. So that is our aim, that is our aim. So lastly we have discussed that obviously this sort of differential equation is exact, although if you want to verify you can verify. Here aim is minus y by x square plus y square and n is x by x square plus y square. So we are going to find del m del y. So what is del m del y? So denominator square plus denominator is fixed, numerator's derivative with respect to y partially minus numerator is fixed, the derivative of the denominator with respect to y partially, so 2y. If you simplify this, this will be y square minus x square by x square plus y square whole square. Similarly, n is given over here, x by x square plus y square. If you want to differentiate n partially with respect to x, the denominator square, denominator fixed, the derivative of numerator with respect to x partially, minus numerator fixed, the derivative of the denominator with respect to x partially. So if you simplify it, it will give you the same value, y square minus x square by x square plus y square whole square. So here del m del y is equals to del n del x. So this is obviously obviously an exact differential equation. So now we can integrate both ends with respect to x and y. So if you integrate this, then this will be vxy. Now this is aim, so this we need to integrate with respect to x. So we'll be treating y as a constant. So minus y is coming out, minus y is fixed over here. So it will be 1 by x square plus constant whole square. So this is 1 by constant into tan inverse x by constant. And if we want to do it directly, then we need to integrate only those terms of n which doesn't contain x, since we have already integrated with respect to x. Otherwise, if you integrate this function with respect to y by keeping x constant, same kind of term will be coming twice. So to uh, avoid this situation, so we will only integrate those terms of n which doesn't contain x. So here this term contains x, so we will neglect this term. So we will be obtaining nothing from here. So this will be 0 and the constant term. So here vxy will be minus tan inverse x by y. So u is given, v we have already got. So we can construct the required analytic function fz in the form of u plus iv. That will be u plus iv. So v is this minus of this, so this will be minus. So in that way, if a real part of an analytic function is given, from that we can construct the imaginary part, and later on we can combine them in the form of u plus iv to construct the required function fz. Okay, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear to all
Yes,
of you?
sir. So we neglect the x part in the end.
Yeah, because
Yes.
already this is the exact differential equation rule you have studied in second semester, second semester.
Yes, sir.
So because here we can whenever we do the ordinary differentiation, ordinary integration, what happens there? If we want to integrate with respect to x, the function is given over there, that is only the function of variable x. But here both x and y are present. So that's why we are treating y as a constant. Since this is an exact differential equation, that's why we can do so. So since already we have integrated the terms which contains x, then if we do it here, if you integrate this with respect to y by keeping x constant, you will be getting the same term. You can verify. So to avoid that, so one term we can consider twice to construct the solution. So that's why here, since already we have integrated with respect to x here, so we need to integrate only those terms which doesn't contain x. Similarly, if you first integrate n with respect to y, so you need to neglect those terms of m which doesn't contain y, since you have integrated with respect to y first. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so this is the first method. So I'm going to discuss one more method, second method, to find out the harmonic conjugate. So here also u is known, v is unknown. So we are going to construct an analytic function fz whose real part is u and imaginary part is unknown, that is v. So since fz is analytic, so obviously the partial derivatives will satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So there are two equations. One is del u del x equals to del v del y, and other is del u del y equals to minus del v del x. So we'll start with the first equation. So we are going to find out the value of v. So u is known but v is unknown. So del v del y equals to del u del x. So since del u del x we can obtain from the given value of u, so we'll be integrating both sides with respect to y partially. So while we are integrating y partially, so we will be treating x as the constant. So here, while we are doing the integration partially, বলো আমাদের ক্লাস আছে, অনুভব নিয়ে আসবে, অনুভবকে বলে। হ্যালো, এই এই কৃষ্ণদা ডাকছে, নিচে চলে যাও। ওই উচিত এইটা তুমি নিয়ে চলে আসবে, আমারটা অনুভব নিয়ে আসবে। Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, while we are integrating something partial with respect to y, so the integrating constant will not be merely constant, rather it will be a function of x. Why it will be a function of x? Because you know that differentiation is the opposite process of integration. So if we differentiate this again with respect to y partially, that will be del v del y, that will be del u del x. And since we are going to differentiate this partially with respect to y, so the function in x will be treated as constant, so this will be 0. So that's why while we are integrating something partially with respect to y, the integrating constant will be a function of x. Similarly, if we want to integrate something partially with respect to x, the integrating constant will be a function of y. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we need to find out only this value. This is the unknown, the constant, that is a function of x. So how we can get the value of this? So for that we will be using the second equation, that is del u del y equals to minus del v del x. So here del u del y is similarly known to us since u is known. So minus del v del x equals to del u del y. Okay. So here from where I could get the value of del v del x. So for that already we have got this where phi x is unknown. We need to differentiate this partially with respect to x. So that will be del v del x equals to del x of this plus phi dash x. Phi dash x means the ordinary derivative of phi with respect to x. So here we will be substituting this value of del v del x here. So in the left hand side this is known, this is only unknown. In the right hand side this is known. So by solving this equation we can get the value of phi x. So then we will be putting the value of phi x here to get the value of vxy. Was it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I am going to discuss one problem. So let's say here uxy is given as e to the power x cos y. Okay. So here uxy equals to e to the power x cos y. So first again we need to verify whether u is an harmonic function or not. Okay, so first we will verify that del 2u del x2 plus del 2u del y2 is 0. So this is an harmonic function. So after that we can actually proceed. So there are two Cauchy-Riemann equation. One is del u del x equals to del v del y and del u del y equals to minus del v del x. So first we'll start with this. So del v del y equals to del u del x. So u is this. So v is unknown actually. So we are going to find out the v. So u is this. So what will be del u del x? So del u del x means this will be differentiated with respect to x partially and this will be kept constant. So that is e to the power x cos y. Okay. So now we will be using the second equation. As for the second equation, del u del y equals to minus del v del x. So del v del x equals to minus del u del y. So since u is this, so what is del u del y? So this will be fixed and the derivative of this with respect to y will be minus sin y. So that is minus of e to the power x minus sin y. So now from where we'll be getting del v del x? So we have already got this one. So first we'll be integrating partially with respect to y. So then vxy, the integration of this partially with respect to y, and the integrating constant will be phi x. So if we want to integrate this partially with respect to y, so term which is in x will be constant, and the derivative of this with respect to y, so that will be sin y. Sorry, integration of this with respect to y, that will be sin y plus phi x. Now to get the value of del v del x, we need to differentiate again this with respect to x. So if we differentiate this partial with respect to x, so that will be del v del x. So this will be e to the power x sin y plus phi dash x. So we'll be substituting these values here in the left hand side. So if you put it here, this term will be deducted. So phi dash x equals to 0. So that is d phi dx equals to 0. So phi x will be constant. So vxy will be here e to the power x sin y plus constant c. Is that clear? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir. So it may come the phi x is a function of x or y.
So phi x is obviously function of x. Because integrating
Okay,
constant
sir.
will be a function of x, since we are integrating it partially with respect to y. So if you
Okay,
integrate
sir.
this first, let's say, with respect to x partially, then integrating constant will be a function of x. Okay,
Okay, sir.
is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just wait for a while. This 7 is not working for us, I guess. Okay, is that clear? So if you are asked to find out the harmonic conjugate, either you can use the first method or you can use the second method. That's for your choice. Okay, is that clear? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there is one more method that is called the Milne-Thomson method. What is the significance of Milne-Thomson method? So here, if we want to use the first two methods, so if u is given, we need to construct the harmonic conjugate of it v first, or if v is given, we need to find out its corresponding harmonic conjugate u first. Then after that, if we want to construct the analytic function fz, then we need to combine this in the form of u plus iv. Okay. So here, whenever we are constructing fz in the terms of u plus iv, here the function is given in terms of x and y. So no z is present over here. So if you were asked to find out the function directly, say for example u is given, just construct the analytic function fz whose real part is given here. So then what we will do? So we don't need to find out v, because if you find v, so it will be this you will do the extra task, because you need to find out only fz without finding out v. So for that we will be using the Milne-Thomson method. When the harmonic conjugate, you are not asked to find out the harmonic conjugate, rather you are asked to construct the analytic function directly from the given real or imaginary part. So u is known, without finding out v, directly we can construct fz in terms of z. So this method is called as the Milne-Thomson method. So how we can proceed to apply this method? So here f dash z, you know that the derivative of f with respect to z can be represented in terms of the partial derivatives with respect to x, or it can be represented in terms of the partial derivatives with respect to y. Okay. So f dash z can be written as del u del x plus I del v del x, or in the terms of del u del y plus I del v del y. So let us consider this. We can proceed with the help of this. So here del u is known, so del u del x is known, but v is unknown. So del v del x is not known to us. So what we will do? We'll be transferring, or we'll be converting this in terms of u. So del v del x is minus I del u del y. Now here u and v both are functions of x and y. So here the partial derivatives of u will also be the functions of x and y. So del u del x, del v, del u del y will also be the functions of x and y. So if we want to find out the value of fz from here, since the terms by using which we can going to find out the values of fz is in terms of the variables x and y, so we can't construct the function fz directly in terms of z. So that's why in order to do so, we need to convert xy in terms of z. So how we can do that? So here fz is uxy plus ivxy. So we know that z is x plus iy. So z bar will be x minus iy. So we can replace the value of xy somehow in terms of z by using this equation. How we can do so? So if I add these two equations and divide by 2, so that will give us the value x, that is z plus z bar by 2. Similarly, if we subtract these two and divide by 2i, we will get the value of y, that is z minus z bar by 2i equals to y. So fz is uxy plus ivxy. So if we replace x by this and y by this, so that will be u z plus z bar by 2 comma z minus z bar by 2i plus iv z plus z bar by 2 comma z minus z bar by 2i. But here we have converted somehow xy in terms of z and z bar, but the original function fz is in terms of z. So only the variable z should be over here. So here z and z bar both are here, but in order to construct the function fz in terms of z, only the variable z should be there. So what do we need to do? Somehow we need to eliminate z bar. So how we can eliminate z bar? So from here, z is arbitrary. Z is any arbitrary value. Z can take any arbitrary value. Okay. So since z can take any arbitrary value, so we can put the value of z as z bar also. So if I put z equals to z bar here, so this second term will be 0. The first term will be z. So this will be converted to u z0 plus iv z0. So in that way, xy is now converted to z0. So we are replacing x by z and y by 0. So in that way, here also the partial derivatives will be converted in terms of variable z0. That means in terms of x we need to put 0, z, in terms of y we need to put 0. Then the right hand side is the now function of z. So we can integrate both sides normally with respect to z to get the value of fz. So in that way, without finding out the harmonic conjugate v of the given function u, we can directly construct the analytic function fz. Was that okay? Was it okay?
Yes, sir.
So now let me give one example, then it will be easier for you. So let's say u is here, e to the power minus x, x sin y minus y cos y. Okay. So we are going to find out fz. Okay. আমারটা নিয়ে এসছে, আমারটা নিয়ে এসছে, হ্যাঁ তোমরা ওখান থেকে নিয়ে খেয়ে নাও, আমি পরে খাবো। আরে না না তোমরা খাও না, আরে ম্যাডাম তুমি খাবে না কেন? আরে তুমি খাও না, তাহলে আমার এখন খিদে নেই, পরে খাও। Okay, so here f dash z is del u del x xy plus I del v del x xy. Okay. So that is del u del x xy minus I del u del y xy. Since v is not known to us, u is known. So we need to replace v by u. So we are replacing del v del x by I del u del y. Okay. So as per the previous discussion, in order to convert the variable xy in terms of z, we need to substitute x by z and y by 0. So if we put here x by z and y by 0, so del u del x del u del y you can calculate from the given function. So we have calculated this. Then we will put x equals to z and y equals to 0. If you simplify this, it will be converted to this. I e to the power minus z into z minus 1. So that is I e to the power z minus z into z minus e to the power minus z. So f dash z is this. So fz will be integration of this with respect to dz. So this is multiplication of two functions e to the power minus z and z. So we can use here integration by parts. So we are keeping z fixed. The integration of this, that is minus e to the power minus z, plus the derivative of z, integration of this, again integration of the entire thing with respect to dz, plus integration of this. So if you simplify this, this will be I minus z e to the power minus z. So here you can see, without finding out v, directly we are constructing fz from u. So here if you put z equals to x plus iy and simplify, you will be getting the real part as this, and imaginary part you can get also from here. So this method you can use only if it is given in the problem that you can construct analytic function from the real part or from the imaginary part. But if you are asked to find out the harmonic conjugate, then you can use any one of the previous two methods. Was that clear? Was that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
this is the entire first chapter. So there are a few applications of the first chapter of analytic function, harmonic functions, such as if fz is analytic and modulus of fz is constant, then the entire function will be constant. Or if fz is analytic, then this kind of equality will hold. Okay. So after this class gets over, I'll be sharing the PPT. I have shared only one class note in the Google Classroom, so I'll be sharing the remaining two by today. So I have solved this kind of problems over there, so you can just go through. And if you face any kind of problem in understanding, before I start the next chapter in the next class, just let me know. I'll solve this. Okay. So I'm sharing this handwritten note here. So if those who have account in Evernote, you can log into Evernote and you can just copy this link, and later on if you can click the link and see whatever is written over here. And I'll be sharing the entire PPT, remaining PPTs of first chapter in the Google Classroom by today. Just go through once, and the solved problem, if you can't understand, just let me know in the next class. Just let me take your attendance first manually. Okay. Rule number 1, 2,
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4,
Present, sir.
5, 6,
Present, sir.
7,
Yes, sir.
8,
Present, sir.
9,
Yes, sir.
10, 11,
Yes, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Yes, sir.
14, remember 14, okay, 15,
Yes, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Present, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19 given. So this is the exam code and this is the link. So just click the link and provide your full enrollment number and the exam code and complete the test. Just someone check and let me know whether you can access it or not.
Yes, sir, it is working.
Okay. Okay. So finish the class test by before the next class by 2:10.
Excuse me,
And
sir.
yeah.
Sir, can you please provide us some sample questions on this chapter complex analysis? Like,
Yeah, so
with-
in the first class note I have shared, okay. So in the first class note you can see that some workout problems are there and some extra problems are also there as exercise. You can check the note. Have you checked the note?
oh, no,
So
sir. I was
similarly,
actually
the remaining two notes which I will be providing in the Google Classroom after today's class. So there are also some few problems which I have solved and some problems are there for you to solve actually.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So thank you all for attending today's class. I'm leaving. Have a nice day.